Okay, we are live. Hopefully my audio is good today. Yeah, and if you are joining me on TikTok, today is Decon Q&A with CrystalJae with my special guest, Zenamae, and I didn't even do all that on purpose. Hang on, I want to make sure I'm watching myself over here so I can keep a better eye on chat. And I'm still learning how to work everything. Make sure as you join, you start tapping the screen, sharing out the live, doing all the good things. And you know what? I don't know how to share from TikTok Studio. Let me see. If you know how to share from TikTok Studio, do me a favor and share this to Zenamae. Hey, Joyful, how are you? Let me edit this to be a different gift. Let's go with ice cream. We'll do 666 of those. All right, and is Zenamae here? Give me, you guys, it's hard for me to work TikTok Studio. I'm really trying. I'm learning all of these streaming things. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Let me get my life together.
You guys, if you're watching on TikTok, there is a lag sometimes. That is TikTok Studio, and there's not a lot I could do about it. But we are streaming on YouTube and Twitch as well, and those links are in my bio if you want to go check out one of my other streaming services. Can you guys hear me okay? And when Zenamae talked, can you guys hear her okay? Let me know. Okay, everything's good? Okay, that's what I like to hear. Hey, Woken Stoke over on YouTube. How are you doing today? Hey, Johan. Hey, how are you?
I'm glad to be here.
I am too. I don't know why, but I had so much nervous energy today about it. And I was like, I don't know why, but I did. I felt so excited, but nervous too for some reason. So let me tell you how I do this, okay? So I'm going to ask you some icebreaker questions, and then after that, we invite anybody to come up and ask you any questions. You don't have to answer anything you don't feel comfortable answering, but they're usually mild and nice questions and stuff. And then at some point, we're going to play a little game. It's called Divine or Decline. I'm going to read you a quote, and if it's from the Bible, it's divine. And if it's not from the Bible, it's decline. And the people in chat play along with us. So does that sound good?
Yes, it does.
All right, cool. So here are my hard-hitting journalist questions, okay? Hey, you guys, if you are watching me on TikTok, you know what to do. Tap the screen, share out the live, the stream. Share out the stream, like the stream. I have a gift goal of 666 of the ice cream cones. So if you have the coins, send those up. But don't forget to also follow and gift my beautiful guest tonight, Zenamae. And let's get into some of these questions, okay? If your laugh had a signature sound effect, what would it be?
I would say a marching band saxophone.
I think
HBCU to be exact.
Mine would just sound like broken glass. I'm very, very sure. Or nails on chalkboard.
Yeah, just a little, a little excitement in the morning.
What's a food combination you love but other people find questionable?
Ooh, okay, don't think I'm crazy, y'all. I tend to like sour cream cheddar chips with vanilla ice cream.
A lot of people like to dip salty, savory foods into like their milkshake or ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like that. I don't have any like weird thing. Like I just really like cookies a lot. Like I could live on cookies alone. And tacos. If I had to live on one like nationality of food for the rest of my life, it'd be Mexican food. I love Mexican food. But I don't have any weird things like, like I don't put peanut butter and mayonnaise on a sandwich or anything like that. I just do normal stuff. I'm boring, I think.
I can't do that. I feel you on that 100%.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Although people in my family have done that. It's gross. Okay. If you had to be the spokesperson for a completely random product, what would you choose?
Does it have to be a product that I support?
No.
Just anything?
Just anything you want, yeah.
Oh, that's a tough question, Crystal. Okay. Catnip.
Ooh, that is good.
Catnip, yep.
That is good. I'm so boring. I was just going to say either Dr. Pepper because, in case you didn't notice, that Dr. Pepper, the new zero flavors are just killing it. I love it. I was thinking, there's a new Ninja Luxe Cafe espresso machine, and I just would do that so I could get a free one.
I mean, why not?
Right?
Like, hey, I like your product. Yeah. Pay me for it.
Exactly. That's all, I like it. I whenever I see it on a TikTok, I tag Ninja Kitchen and I say, hey, it's me again. If you want to send me one, I'm here.
You should send them a letter to their headquarters. I hear when people do things like that, like they respond back, like if you have a special occasion, like say it's your birthday or something.
Yeah. I might do that. My birthday's coming up. I deserve one for my birthday. Oh, thank you, Christina. Welcome in, Christina and the Raiders. We appreciate you. Spicy Jess, how are you? All right. Remember, you guys, guest box is open. I'm just asking some icebreaker questions, but after this, you get to come up and ask your questions of Zenamae. And I just like to, get the ball rolling with some easy, fun stuff, Which celebrity do you think you could be in a totally ridiculous competition like speed typing?
Christina Milian.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. I'm a pretty fast typer still, even though I'm older now. Not as fast as I used to be. I think. Let me see. I could be Dustin Hoffman. I think anybody.
He's such a quirky little guy.
He really is. He really is. What's the most absurd piece of advice you've ever received?
That's a good question, Crystal. Ooh.
I'll tell you a funny one I received while you think. When I was a really young girl, let's see, I was probably about maybe 5 at the oldest, okay? And my sister is 4 years older than me, so she would have been about 9. We had this aunt that was in her 90s at the time. And we were over at their house, and all the adults were talking like they do, you know, where you just would have to sit there and be quiet while all the adults talked. You didn't really know what was going on, but you knew that you had to sit there and behave, right? So we're just sitting there being prim and proper, and my aunt, who's in her 90s, leans over and she says, "You don't ever need a man. You understand me? You don't need a man for anything. You want a ring? You put a ring on your own finger. You don't need a man." I remembered that.
I like that.
I remembered it. All these years later, I was 5 and I remember it.
Oh, okay. Benny. Benny. I'm gonna pass on that question.
That Benny's trying to get you in trouble, huh? Trying to get you a little hot water there.
He really is trying to get me in trouble. Both of them are here too, which is crazy. I think the craziest advice that I got, which was like really bad advice, was to like get some pesticide for my little garden on my balcony. And I literally destroyed all my little plants. I was so sad. I took a long time trying to grow those plants.
Aww.
And gone. So that was some bad advice.
Aw, that sucks.
Made me say it.
Um,
Also, I pick you as my brother.
Okay, if you could give your teenage self a pep talk in just a few sentences, what would you say?
Learn how to say no and mean it, and don't second guess yourself. Focus on education more than anything else in the whole entire world, whether you agree with what you're learning or not. Just know that it's an ends to a means. I think if younger self would have realized that, man, the places I could have gone. So definitely, and last but not least, choose yourself first in all ways, in all times, even when you feel like you look like absolute dog shit. Oh, sorry, Crystal.
You can say dog shit.
Even if you just, okay, like even if you've had the worst time in your life, you've gone through something so traumatic, your hormones are raging, you just feel like the world is literally against your teenage self at the time. But I wish that somebody would have held my hand and been like, "Girl, choose yourself. You're gonna get through this. Get over the hump. You got it."
That's great advice. Great advice. I would tell my younger self, most of these people aren't going to mean shit to you in a few years. Stop worrying so much about what they think. And you are far more beautiful inside and out than you will ever know. So stop judging yourself.
No, yeah.
I think we judge ourselves so much when we're young girls and young women, inside and out, and I look back at pictures now of myself when I was younger where I just thought I was hideous. And I think, I was beautiful. Why did I think that,
Yeah. When you said, I struck a chord, Crystal, because I was definitely one of those girls who, like, I wore a jacket probably from elementary school all the way till probably, like, my last year of middle school, until a friend pulled me aside and was like, "You gotta stop wearing the jacket before we get to high school." She was like,
yeah,
"You gotta cut that out."
That's a good friend.
I was like,
yeah, that's a really good
Definitely.
friend. Okay. Actually, on that point, that's why I do lives, by the way. It's because I have social anxiety, and I also have self-worth issues. And by putting myself out there, I'm forcing myself to see myself the way other people see me instead of the way I see myself. Does that make sense? Yeah. It helps with self-esteem.
I can really resonate with that. That's probably why I don't go on camera a lot. Like, it's very difficult to kind of see yourself. And yes, everybody can tell you, oh, you look nice.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. You know, like, people can tell you those things, but until it, like, really clicks here in a fundamental way, it's very hard to digest it, especially if other people are saying it. So when I say I really empathize and I still fight that right now,
yeah,
I do. So I get it.
We got to teach these younger women and girls to love themselves first, love themselves always. Okay, what's a completely useless superpower you would still love to have?
Changing clothes at will, like just thinking of different type of clothes or jewelry or accessories or hair, like my appearance, just changing my like outfits, shoes, hair, like all of that at like a drop of a dime.
That's a good one.
I think that could
I like that.
But it could be pretty beneficial, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think that I would just never have a bad hair day again. Just always have
like that.
Perfect hair. I'm sorry, you guys, if TikTok...
No matter what, right out the water.
Yeah, just get up and it's perfect. Oh, man, that would be awesome. You guys, if you're having problems on TikTok, I do apologize. TikTok Studio does lag sometimes. Just join us over on YouTube. The link is in my bio. I'm also on Twitch, if you have Twitch. If you could put one ridiculous rule in place for the entire world to follow for a day, what would it be? This is ridiculous.
That's a good question, Crystal. Everybody has to have pickles in their pockets at all times, no matter what. Yeah.
Okay, so
everybody, gherkin pickles, dill pickles. I feel like people don't celebrate pickles enough.
They really don't. Zenamae, did you know that back when I was growing up that they told pregnant women to walk around with a jar of pickles? Did you know that? Because they said...
Wait.
They said if your water broke, just hurry and drop the jar of pickles so nobody will know. But like, why wouldn't I want people to know that I'm going into labor?
To know that I'm about to give birth.
Yeah, they did. They used to tell women to carry around a jar of pickles. I would just
I'd be like, I need the purpose.
Yeah. I would just make everybody bring me cookies because I like cookies. I really like cookies. So that would be my ridiculous rule for the whole world to follow in one day. What's a song, lyric, or movie quote that lives rent-free in your head?
Okay. Gypsum River, and I forget the name of the artist, but it talks about different routes to freedom and things like that, but it has a very beautiful melody, and there's one line that just says, "Send me down the Gypsum River," and I had to look that up myself, like the context of it, and when I learned about what the Gypsum River meant down, in the South, I was like, oh, no wonder I really love this freaking song. So it means a lot to me. And Zola Jesus has a song called Stridium. And whenever I'm feeling anxious, whenever I'm feeling like the world is just collapsing, I can't name one lyric because it's the whole song that just, I put my earphones in the world, everything just shuts down and I can breathe. So Zola Jesus, Stridium it's my jam.
I love that. Music is ever changing for me. Like I don't know that like a lyric will have to speak to me at that moment and where I'm at in that time. Like I can't think of one that encompasses something. There's a lot of funny lines in movies and TV shows though that live rent free in my head constantly. And one of my favorites is when somebody says,
Yes.
when somebody says to you, "Can I ask a stupid question?" And then I will reply, "Better than anyone I know," because that was in the Golden Girls, and it's just the best comeback. So yeah,
I love Golden Girls. Okay.
I will always love the Golden Girls. They have the best one-liners,
Mm-hmm.
If your personality could be summed up by a meme, which one would it be? Ooh, I don't even know what I would pick.
Oh, easy. The little girl standing in front of the fire.
Oh,
The house on
yes.
fire. The little girl just kind of standing like, I can't do her face. Hold on,
Yeah.
let me try to fix my face to do her face. Like that.
Yep. She looks like, you know what I did. I don't know what my meme would be. Like what? I don't know. I have no idea.
There's so many to choose from.
I know. Maybe I'd be the little old lady with the, "Where's the beef?" I don't even, I can't pick any. Okay, you guys, now it's time for you to come up and ask Zenamae your questions. TikTok is lagging. If you're having a problem with TikTok, remember that I'm live on YouTube and Twitch, and those links are in my bio. It is TikTok Studio. They did an update this week, and a lot of times we lag after that happens for a little bit. But the guest box is open, so come on up, and then in a little bit we'll play Divine or Decline. Hey, Shelly Belly, how are you? Unashamed Apostate, everybody over on YouTube and Twitch, how are you doing? You guys, thank you for all the gifts and the likes and the shares. And oh yeah, you guys can also call in over on YouTube. The link is in the video description. Thank you, Giga. Hey, Benny, are you with us?
What's up, friends?
How are you?
Hey.
Hi.
I gotta
I
remember.
don't think I've ever talked to you, Zen. I haven't had the chance to be up on a panel with you, so this is exciting.
This is exciting. I hear your name a lot.
I'm all
We're like neighbors in different states.
Right. And I'm not gonna ask you to answer that question I asked earlier. That was
I
just
think
a
he's
joke.
gone. It won't.
We all know you pick Oso anyways. No. So anyways, I did want to come up just for anybody watching on TikTok. I think if you drop the quality a little bit, like if you go to that little arrow down in the bottom right, and then you click video quality, drop it down just a little bit, and it'll help with that lagging, because it stopped lagging for me.
I'll have to recheck my OBS settings now that TikTok updated. I think that I have to change something in there now.
Possibly. I don't know what it is. What's a good question? What do you want to do with your position here, as part of the deconstruction community, overall?
That's a great question. Actually, Oso asked me something similar. And I think I'm going to start talking about child trafficking in Christian churches and occults. And the troubled teen youth industry is what's going to be my focus, simply because I do have friends who are actively working in nonprofits to give more information, resources, we worked on a legislation that Paris Hilton recently passed. And not to be funny, but she is a mutual of mine. But, you know, and I really, this is, I think, going to be my platform that I'm going to build here on TikTok, giving more information and really helping people who, I don't know, just don't know how to reach out to others who've experienced the same thing. So yeah, that's going to be what I hope to give to the community, a little bit more insight.
That's like awesome.
That's
honestly,
amazing.
Yeah, a really good answer. Like, and honestly, I'm really happy I asked that question because now I know kind of like to, you know, reference you or something. Like if somebody's asking these type of questions, like in the Discord or on another live or anything, I could be like, you know, I'll take you or something. Like, it's just easier for me to know like what people's kind of interests or specialties or, you know, like where they kind of land as far, because there's so much that goes under the umbrella of deconstruction. So that's awesome to hear. And I don't think we really have anybody that addresses that stuff. And that's big stuff. Like, I don't know how many documentaries I've seen, like with the FLDS, you know, like the Mormon church. There's with the, like the flirt, I can't remember what church it was, but they're like telling girls to go out and flirt to convert or whatever.
Oh my God.
I know that that's a big deal. Like purity culture is a big deal. And like just so much that goes under all of that. Like the satanic panic in the 80s, churches were like convincing kids.
Well, it's funny you say that, Benny, because the place that I was at, Freedom Village, Fletcher Brothers, he was a big part of that. And that's when like radio ministry really became like a really big thing. Mm-hmm. And so he was a part of that satanic, you know, panic movement that took off.
They were like feeding kids like false memories and stuff, or like they would be like telling them like, oh, what happened at, you know, this preschool or something. They're all Satanists and they hurt you and stuff. These kids are like, well, I guess they did. I don't know, you know, and it's just wild. I've seen so many documentaries on it, but it hasn't really gotten brought up that much. I know Justin Deconstruction Zone had a lady on once, and I had to go up and I had to like debunk all of this misinformation she put up. So like that information does need to get out there, like really, really bad, because people have this really weird view on things, and the only like the major victims here are the kids, you know. Oh, yeah. It's awful. And you know, as a kid too, like churches do weird stuff. Churches do really weird stuff, like show inappropriate videos, talk about inappropriate things, maybe things that aren't really like, they're not old enough to even discuss, like death and hell. There's a lot. Like I could go on and on and on. So that's awesome.
You're 1,000,000% right, and that's why it's something that it takes a lot for me to talk about. But at the same time, I realize that I'm not seeing enough information pushed out. A lot of times, people think that these places are just homes, right? These places are just like, there's a troubled teen or troubled youth or something like that. And in reality, it's actually a systematic cult. It's a leader who's in charge. You have to talk to the leader about everything, about your dating, whether you want to use the bathroom at a certain time, and I'm not joking, whether who you want to date. You know, there's certain punishments that are just horrific that people go through, and what you're exposed to when you are there. A lot of people don't talk about the aftermath, you know, like one personal thing I'll share, it's a little quirk, but I don't shower with my, with the screen closed. I literally cannot do it. And it's because of what took place in those places. So I have to explain to people why I have a bath mat on the floor specifically before that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I cannot have that closed. I literally can't, you know? And when I was younger, my mom, she never understood why, like, all of a sudden, I don't want to close the shower curtain. I'm like, I can't.
that breaks my heart. Like that's like totally a trauma response. You know, like that is what we're talking about when we're talking about like church trauma or any kind of like religious trauma like that. It anything like your lack of privacy, like at those kind of the troubled teen camps and stuff. That stuff is wild. I had no idea that stuff was going on too. Like,
Oh yeah.
ugh,
It gets pretty gnarly, and
yeah.
you know, the place that was head of ours was called Hannah Grace Holmes. And Hannah Grace Holmes deals here in the United States and in Canada as well. And they often group with local government officials. So it doesn't matter if, you know, somebody raises a horn about something. 9 times out of 10, the sheriff, the officials, you know, the children's government systems. My brain is blanking right now, but they all know about it. And they're all kind of in cahoots with each other, you know. And but I'm proud to say that like people are fighting back. People who have power are helping. That's, you know, I'm definitely on certain sides of the aisle. Thank you, Matt. CPS. I'm on certain sides of the aisles about certain things, but about this, I don't care who helps.
Right.
Out and get these kids out of these places, you know.
You got me like I'm probably gonna end up going down a really sad and tragic rabbit hole, but like necessary. I feel like this isn't talked about enough, and like I've never heard of like the Hannah Grace, or I need to like hear about these specific places. And I know that they're all under some umbrella, like Assemblies of God or like something like that. So yeah, you got my support 110%. If you need anything, tech support or any kind of help, feel free to message me. Okay.
I look now when I do, because I will. You know, I really appreciate this community and how embracing everybody is. You, Crystal, Oso, Christina, Thinker, Fee, Just. I can name so many freaking people.
Yeah,
like y'all are so warm and welcoming when it comes to us and supporting each other. And this is something that, you know, when I go live and, you know, we have these conversations, but this is a conversation that I think sometimes has to be, you got to put on those kid gloves and you just got to kind of be gentle. Sometimes when you have people who come up who have made, you know, still be in these places and still hold on to this religion. That was something that I really had to grapple with, you know? Thinking that I'm serving God one way, but these people are telling me I'm going to hell because I'm a different way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Like you could still be, you know, like you don't have to give up like Christianity or anything to be against, you know, these terrible things. So like, yeah, I totally get what you mean.
yeah.
And yeah, I understand the complexities and like the levels at which that would be at. So yeah. Well, it's good talking to you. Thank you for answering my question. I think that was a really good answer.
I think you're the only one who's gonna ask me questions, Benny.
I know there's a bunch of cowards in the chat here.
You guys, while we're at this breaking point, why don't we do a restart real quick? See if that helps with the connection. I'm going to try to change one little setting on the studio, the live, and but come right back and make sure. You know what? I see a lot of your friends in the chat. You guys get ready to come up and ask your questions. Okay, I'll be right back. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, stay right where you are. I won't be going anywhere with you. Okay. Where's the settings? All right. We are back. Are you guys still with me over on YouTube? I hope you are. And I hope this helps with the streaming for TikTok. I'm doing my best, you guys. TikTok Studio is not the easiest to work with sometimes. So I'm doing my best. I might just have to find a different way to do everything that I'm doing. I also might need to get a new computer. All right. Well, let's give everybody a chance to join in with us again. Yeah, Benny is a really great guy. He just helps so many people.
He seems like I've gotta I see him all the time, all over the place, just being nothing but helpful and just really nice and gracious. So I definitely, you and him I see you both. Like, you guys are always just on top of it. Like, I love it. I love it.
You know, like, I think after I left the church and then began to deconstruct, I realized that I missed a lot of the community things. I liked working on all the church projects, you know. I liked being a part of all of that, of the fundraisers and the this and that. And then I realized, why can't I do that with my community? Why can't I put in the hours with people who are making a difference, not just talking?
I 1,000,000% agree with you.
Okay, so if you're Mac-Luster or Tahir, or Thunderhurst or Christina Carroll, I think you should come up and ask Zenamae a question, get to know Zenamae, quit sitting in the cheap seats and get up here on the stage with us. And you guys start tapping the screen, share out the live, do all the good stuff. Here comes the beautiful Tahir.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How's it going, guys?
Good. Hey, the Life Beyond Belief is in chat. You need to check your Discord messages, you guys, Ken and Christina. I'm sorry, guys. Go ahead. They need to check their Discord messages.
Let me know if my audio is okay. But so my question is more so, I guess you could say, for both of you guys, because being in here, listening to you earlier, you were really kind of speaking to my dang near soul, because I'm the kind of person as well. I really struggle with seeing what it is that I have, to offer, and where my value is. And so Crystal's been, super supportive and pushing me past some of that stuff that holds me back and putting myself out there. But I still, I'm the only reason I came up is because no one else was, it's still hard for me. And I'm wondering, what your guys' advice is for, how do you get out there despite having those, reservations and holdups that you have?
Well, for me, I think it's realizing that I'm never going to get over the reservations. I think that's one part of it, honestly, is just being facing that head on. I go live a lot, but I still have trepidation. You know what I'm saying? I'm still kind of I might get that one person who might trigger, something crazy or something. You know what I'm saying? But I have to, even with that trepidation, still just push forward, because if I feel like something is important that I want to say, I can't allow doubt or fear to stop. Again, I have to remember that I have the power with that. That's one thing I like about phones, right? I have the power to just click out if I don't like what somebody's saying to me. If somebody's, being harmful, hurtful, I have a control. And unlike somebody being face to face with me, I don't have to stay in the room. I can reclaim my power at any time. And that's what I think these lives really bring to me, honestly. And that's why I'm like, bye. I don't have to stay here and listen to you. I can go on my own platform. I can use my own voice and I can say what I want to say. And whoever listens to it listens. And whoever doesn't, okay, bye. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's so true. It really is. Great, great advice. And I guess, that is kind of what you have to focus on is like the message, not so much yourself and like the role you play. It's almost kind of like there's a bigger cause, I guess is kind of how I was taking it. And yeah, that's really great advice.
I will tell you that you're doing some good things already to hear, getting involved with the community, getting to know everybody, jumping up, even when you're a little scared to jump up and join panels. And sometimes I'm on a panel and I just stay muted because the panelists are already handling it. I'm up there in case I have something I want to say, but I find a lot of times I just listen when I'm up there. They're all brilliant, and I don't need to make a comment just to be, just to make noise. I can just sit and listen. But then sometimes I'm on Joyful's live, and then I have to yell at people and be a bitch. So you just never know. You never know. But do what you're doing. Like keep jumping up there, and I'm gonna probably go live soon with just one of my conversation shows, and if I do, jump up on my panel and just hang out with me.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I guess that is good advice too, is like you just really have to get out there and get comfortable, I think, because that's kind of where you never get better at something if you don't practice, if you don't try, if you don't throw your hat in the ring. And yeah, so I really appreciate that. Thank you guys. There are things that I'm gonna take with me and hopefully put into effect. But appreciate you guys and the work you're doing. And that's my big takeaway is what, you're right. There's a greater cause and something more important to focus on than my own insecurities and whatnot. So thanks, guys.
Well, thank you
for coming up. I don't think nobody gonna ask me no question. That's okay.
Okay, Christina.
I'm ready to play some games, Christina.
We will. That's what we'll do. Okay, you guys. Christina, Carol, Elosa Ray, Mac Lester, the guest box is open. There we go. And then in a little bit, we'll play a game. We can even leave Elos up here while we play our game. Well, there we go. He's loading now. Hey, Eloso, how are you? I slurred your name together. I kind of slurred your name together. Did you? Eloso. I should.
It's a southern thing. I ain't gonna take no offense to it.
Okay. What's your question for the beautiful Miss Zenamae? Is it Zenamae or Zenamae?
It's Zena, but
Okay.
I love the different variations that people give me. So I just don't correct it. If it's close enough, I leave it.
Okay.
I love it and I leave it alone.
Oh yeah, it's on me.
Yeah.
My question is, how many times per week can we look forward to hanging out with you?
Me?
Nah, you.
Oh. You mean on live?
Yes, obviously.
All right, I'm gonna buckle down a bit more, and I'm probably gonna start doing. Not probably. I will definitely be doing Thursday afternoons, probably from 7 to 8 or 9. Probably gonna start doing that a bit more consistently. Saturday afternoons, if nobody's picking up lives, I'll be going on after Saturday afternoons. And so Thursdays and Saturdays are probably going to be the days where I really buckle down. But I do have a Discord. I have a link in my bio. So I will always put when I am live. Come join me.
I really enjoy your lives. I noticed some things that you do that, and I don't like even want to say them because I don't want you to be cognizant of you doing it because I love them so much. But I notice ways that you talk to people where you bring the level down. You know what I mean? When they're bringing it up here, and you have this very calming way of bringing them back down here for, you know, for the conversation, and I love it.
Oh, thank you. I feel like I'm always up here.
No,
But I try not to.
No, you bring it back.
Just
I
say,
had that
nah.
same.
No.
I had that same observation.
Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're always up there.
but also, no, the
Oh.
asshole. But like Crystal, I'm not gonna tell you what it is.
Tell me. What? Tell me.
No, I tell you, it's little things. The one that
It is.
always kind of tickles me is like when you're like, we call somebody best friend. I think that's it's funny. I think it's disarming. I think it's very charming.
Because I be like, you know, come on, best friend. We don't gotta argue.
Yeah, because like it's
just
a
wanna
great
talk.
like who wants to yell at their best friend?
No. They get mad. One lady said, "I'm not your friend's friend." I was like, "Oh, you don't gotta be." You see?
We can work at it.
That's when you call him your very good friend.
Or I say sugarfoots. They get mad at me. They don't like that.
Oh yeah, that one guy. What'd you call him? You called him sweetie or sweetheart or something. He's like, "Don't call me that." He's like, "Okay, Sugarfoot." And he's like, "Stop doing that." I'm like, she genuinely calls people that. What are you mad about? Like, that's not her doing a dig. She calls people that.
All the time. I don't know. I try my best though. I really do like deconstruction conversations, and I actually do try to study to make sure that like I know what I'm talking about. And I think one of the most things about our community is like you have to learn to be like, if somebody corrects you about something and you're wrong, it's like, oh, write it the fuck down and go research it, you know. And I like that a lot.
Yeah, it seems like you're very well read. Like, I feel like I can tell that you do your research by your conversations.
Thank you. I do, because I hate being the person who's just saying something and you sound like an idiot. And it's okay not to know something, but it's not okay to pretend you know something and then try to correct somebody on it. I can't tussle with Christians, and you know, when I'm trying to talk about child trafficking or when I'm talking about the troubled teen homes, I can't talk to these people and talk about this if I don't know who, what, where, when, and why. You know, and I think when people do that, those type of things, it takes away from their message. You know, and that's why I appreciate our community, because we do know what we're talking about, and we're not just up there yapping. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It is amazing how they think we should know everything, though. It's amazing how they will come up and expect us to know their Bible that they don't know. The actual Hebrew, the Greek, the science behind it, the biology, the the psychology. They want us to know the atmospheric pressure. You know, we have to know all that, but they don't even know their Bible.
They don't know, they can't pull a scripture.
Are we still asking questions? I don't know.
Yeah,
the live is
yeah.
like glitching. I didn't know if it was that.
Yeah.
My question for Zena, I don't know if you answered this question already. What was like the moment where like you knew that it was time for you to walk away from the faith, or like what was the turning point for you?
I think my final turning point, I think overall saw was, like, of course, slavery, learning more. But I remember when I did my DNA test, and I saw that 25+% error. And I had to really sit and grapple with how that 25% got there, and the person who, in order to birth me in the world. And I ask God about it. I really did. I sat down and I asked God, and I think I cried for hours when the real, because it's all, the realization is always there, but I had to actually say out my mouth that I'm a product of X, Y, and Z, right? A lot of us are, whether, you know, if you're African American and you got that 25%, that's what you're a product of. And it sat with me for a very long time. And then when I realized that I wasn't getting any type of answers, nobody was comforting me, you know, God, you know, he wasn't telling me why. I couldn't find a scripture in the Bible that could justify it. That's when I said, you know what, I cannot serve something that would allow me to be a product of something like that. I just can't do it. And that was the linchpin for me, for real. At 21 or 22, my brain really, really, really clicked. That's what got me. Thank you, sister.
Look how cool.
Was that your? I hope I answered the question.
No, it really did. I you know, we all have different stories of our deconstruction. I don't think I had ever heard like what kind of started you on your deconstruction journey. So I was really interested in that. Thank you for answering that question. I appreciate that.
Yeah, like seeing my family records and like knowing the people who actually like. I'm very privileged in the fact that I can actually go to Bullitt County and I know where my last name came from. You know what I'm saying? I know who they are. And, you know, it's a very interesting feeling.
And I'll say to the point that Mac and Osa and Kristen, I think, were saying, I remember the first time I was in your lives, you know, the very first time that I sat in and was like, let me just, you know, see what and I was calling you Zenamae. I was calling you Zena at first. And then I was like, oh, it's Zena. And then I started calling you Zena. But I remember sitting in there and I was like, the way, I called you like the lion tamer. I remember being like, the way this woman, like, the way you disarmed them is so masterful. Mm-hmm. They were like hot as fire. And you would just like talk to them in this slow, calm. And I was like, I wish I could. I gotta learn that. It is so good. I have not learned that. But
spoiler alert.
You do.
That is your gift. And I think it is really wonderful because it does help to further conversations along. You're really good at that.
Yeah, I remember that too. I remember I was driving home and like a long like drive back from Tennessee or something. I was like I joined your live and it was like the exact same thing that you're talking about. It was the handling was like next level. It was very impressive. That was a while ago, months and months ago. But yeah, that was my because I just started following you. So what?
I said I don't like people yelling at me. Oh.
Yeah, but
most people like.
It's almost psychological.
Do that kind of thing. It's like you're either going to shut down or like lash back. Yeah.
Hey, you guys! I've tried everything I can to fix the live. There's nothing I can do right now. I'm using TikTok Studio. They did an update, and unfortunately, a lot of times that happens. I am live on YouTube and Twitch. If you want to head over there, the link is in my bio, and it's not glitchy over on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, you can. But it's almost psychological what you do, Zenamae. One of the things you do, and you do it when you're not. When there's not an issue, you do it, but it's a different tone. You will use the person's name. And it's masterful because in the inflection you will put into it as to what result you're trying to get from them. Does that make sense? Like when you're talking to them, you'll say, okay, Jerry, let's turn to that scripture. Okay, Jerry, I've got it right here, Jerry. Let me get that for you. You know, and I'm like, yes, bring him back. Bring Jerry back to us. But okay.
It does make a difference, like, because I think people just want to be seen sometimes. And when they're lashing out or when they're upset, it's because they don't feel like their voice has ever been heard. And if I'm acknowledging you, even if you're being disrespectful, as you know, God knows what, if I can call your name, I sometimes feel like there's a power in me, right? Because that's what you've been called your whole life, you know? And so when somebody else is recognizing that while you're in the midst of a crash out, it makes you pause. It makes you go, oh, they are directly, that connection is there, you know? So
Yeah.
I've always just done that. I've always called somebody by their name. I think names are very, very, very important.
They are. They're very important. And I love it when you do it. So, and I really feel like if you have never taken any psychology courses or anything, you use a lot of very psychological ways to diffuse a situation. Anyway, would you guys like to continue to ask her questions, or do you want to play the hit game Divine or Decline? It's up to you.
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay.
Yeah. So I love this format, Crystal. I think it's a great way to like learn more, you know, about our friends. And I've got this question I've been itching to ask Zena, and it's what is your favorite thing about me? I'm kidding. Don't fucking answer that.
That's the best.
No, I have a real question.
I would like to know the answer to that, though.
What does anybody like about Mac, really?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you. That's the abuse I crave. No, I do have a real question. I think, like, I admire your, like, strong commitment to, like, feminist values. And I'm curious what you think the biggest hurdle is for women in overcoming this, you know, misogynistic religion. And other religions, too, but specifically, like, Christianity.
That's a good question. You know, when I was in the cold, we would have to do a thing where every day we would come downstairs and you had to be examined before you walked out of the house, right? And it was the women who would poke and prod at us. Our shirts had to be very loose, pants very loose, hair up, tied, covered sometimes, depending on if we were going around the men or not. But it was the women who set the tone of how us girls would behave. And I think my biggest challenge when I'm deconstructing, coming up, Christina, I think the biggest challenge is other women not recognizing this system that they're upholding themselves and actively participating in, is what really, if it does, you guys are the ones raising the children according to their plans, but you're the one implementing their plan. And until women realize that, it's just going to be a cycle of BS. And I think that's sometimes why I'm a little harder on women, specifically when it comes to religion, because they're the nurturers. But if you have a woman offering up her daughter with no objection to a 50-year-old man just because another man told you to do so, you're not innocent in my eyes. and I have a hard issue with that. And that goes even out of Christianity. I think it goes into how culturally, I'll take Black women, there's a thing where they don't like their daughters. They're very jealous of their daughters for some reason sometimes. And it's just a never-ending cycle of trauma that nobody is willing to address. But when you do address it, you're too progressive or, I don't know, just a whole bunch of other things. So that's why I really am I don't care about men. I care about women because we're the ones, in my opinion, who need to fix this shit. A lot of us do. And a lot of us need to stop being so selfish, self-centered, and withholding secrets. Like, oh, we don't want to tell the bad thing about dad because, we want to keep dad's image intact. Well, maybe Sarah needs to know that dad was being detailed so that Sarah doesn't fall into the same traps. Maybe that needs to happen. So yeah, I don't know if that answered the question. I hope it
Yeah. Thank you.
did. Thank you.
Oso, anything else?
Legendary game.
Okay, the legendary game. You guys?
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about Mac?
Mac, you know what? I feel like Mac could put, what's the hold, like the bridle hold? I feel like Mac could do that and he would have no issues. That's my favorite thing about Mac.
She said Mac got a strong back.
Well, actually he does. I hug his back.
You hug his back?
Mhm.
All right, Crystal, it's been fun. I might have to go.
He's so comfy. I'm sorry. He is. He's so comfy.
Damn, now he plush and strong? What the fuck?
Okay, let's play the game Divine or Decline. Okay, here's how it works. I'm going to read you guys a quote, and if it's from the Bible, it's divine, and if it's not from the Bible, you decline. There's no points, so none of this matters. You guys can play along in the chat.
There's points up here.
Okay. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and one whose temper is controlled than the one who captures a city.
Decline.
Decline.
I think divine.
It is divine. That's Proverbs 16:32. Okay.
I never read the whole thing. So the first part felt familiar, but the rest of it.
Yeah, that's same for me when I read it. Like, I was like, the first part sounds familiar, but I didn't remember the end of it.
Yeah, be slow to anger. That's a theme.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely read that on other places.
Although God's not very slow to anger, but the moon will weep before the dawn, and the rivers shall carry the sorrow of the land.
Decline. I don't think the Bible talks about the moon a lot.
Also decline.
Yeah, I know it says the moon will not give its light, but I don't recall that one. I'm going to also decline.
That is decline. That is just made up bullshit. All right, number 3.
It was nice.
Yeah, suck it, Mac.
I declined.
Yeah, I'm still down one. Suck it.
Even fools who keep silent are considered wise. When they close their lips, they are deemed intelligent.
Now that's divine.
I think that's decline.
I'm going to say decline.
It is divine. That is Proverbs 17:28. Okay.
What
Shut your
translation?
dumb ass up.
What translation?
NRSVUE.
I'm just kidding.
The TMNT translation. Okay. The righteous walk in a path of light, but the wicked stumble in their own shadow.
Divine.
Yeah, I think divine.
I'm gonna say divine as well.
It is decline. Okay. Like
Damn, that's what I said. It's crazy because I said that.
like a dog that returns to its vomit is a fool who reverts to his folly.
What was the first? A dog returns to what?
Its vomit.
I'm gonna decline.
I'm gonna decline as well.
I'm sorry, Osa, what did you say?
Feel like I'm gonna say divine for the shits and
It is divine, and it's one of my favorite.
Divine.
It is divine. It's one of my favorite Bible verses just because it's so gross. I like to go, just put it randomly somewhere. Like they'll say John 3:16, and I'll say Proverbs 26:11. I don't know. A whisperer separates close friends.
Decline.
Decline.
definitely decline.
It's divine. That's Proverbs 16:28. You guys, why aren't you playing in chat? Are you guys playing? Oh, you are playing. Okay.
I don't know.
Usually you guys are
All I
all
know is I have 3 and Mac has 2.
okay. Wait, what? I thought you guys were tied. Oh no, you just got another
Absolutely
one.
not.
Okay, all right. Absolutely not. I'm so
Hey,
sorry.
wait, we gave the same answers.
I'm 3. No, dude, I'm up on you.
Mm,
Don't try me.
sauce.
He just went up
Run the
with
YouTube back.
the-
Pull a thinker.
Fuck your book.
Blessed are those who plant kindness, for their
I mean, who
roots.
cares if she did say fuck your Bible?
Say
Ble-
it again.
Yeah, I was talking. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Blessed are those who plant kindness, for their roots will never wither.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
What the frick? Sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know what they're doing. Thank you for joining again. I am so sorry. But hopefully, I don't know what happened there. I wonder if they have this little puzzle piece thing that you have to answer. And I wonder if it came up on the screen and I didn't see it because I was looking at the questions.
I was like, where'd she go?
I know. I'm like, what the heck? What happened?
I wanted to make sure I came back because I was like, I did not want. I was like, did I do that?
No. The only thing I could think of is a puzzle piece came up and I didn't see it. They've been doing that lately and it's so stupid. You're clearly live. You're on camera. You're using their studio.
Yeah. They wildin'.
All right, we got Mac back up
I don't
here.
know. I think it's a network thing because you were glitching pretty hard, even up here. Like, usually when you're on the panel, it's smooth,
Right.
but you were cutting it out pretty hard.
I'm
You can't find
directly
us, Jada?
I'm directly plugged in. So I don't know.
Ethernet?
Yep. And I show like a really good connection. And I'm not having any problems on YouTube or Twitch. But ever since they updated the studio, that's when people started telling me I'm glitching on TikTok. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'll bet it's on TikTok side, but it's there. It's like it downgraded when I joined. It said like switch to a lower resolution. So
Okay, well,
It took you 10 minutes to find us there?
That's wild. All right, so where were we? Blessed are those who plant. No, yeah, is that where we were? Did you guys answer that one? Blessed are those who plant kindness, for their roots will never wither. What did you guys say?
Decline.
Yeah, I'm gonna decline that one.
Yeah, I'm inclined to decline.
Okay, that's good because that is not in the Bible. All right, a glad heart makes a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of heart the spirit is broken. A glad heart makes a cheerful countenance.
Divine.
You guys are right. That is Proverbs 15:13. All right, do not be quick
I
with
get an
your
extra
tongue.
point because they copied me.
Yes, you do get an extra point there. So they did copy you. They were like, okay, whatever he said. Do not be quick with your tongue, for words once spoken can never be gathered again.
Divine.
Yeah, divine.
Decline.
Decline. That is not in the Bible. And the last one.
Oh, suck it back. Oh.
The last will be first, and the first will be last.
Divine.
I'm gonna have to say divine on that one.
Divine.
It is divine.
Decline.
It's divine. It's divine. That's what I used to say to people if they took cuts when I was a little Christian brat. I would be like, first shall be last, last shall be first. I don't know why I said that.
I used to do that all the time.
Well, did you guys have any more questions for Zenamae? I'm
Is
having.
it glitching for y'all?
Yeah, it's still glitching. So what I might have to do is, I've had a lot of fun. I'd like to rebook this maybe in a few weeks again, and try when I have a better connection. I'll work with Benny and see if we can figure out what has gone on with TikTok Studio since a few days ago, and see if we can't figure out how to get a better connection to TikTok Studio. But thank you so much for being here. I think it was a lot of fun, and I am so glad that I asked you to be here, and I'm so glad you accepted, because I learned a lot about you, and I think you're amazing. And I hope everybody's following Zenamae, because she is amazing. And if you are watching on YouTube or Twitch, please subscribe, and I'll bring you some more Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. By the way, Eloso, we need to get together so we can set up a date for your show. And Mac Lester, you go live anymore? Do you do your own shows anymore?
No, I need to, but I don't.
Well, I'm going to be doing a special panelist live too, where I'm going to bring up a few of our favorite panelists and do this. So maybe you could join me for that.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much again.
Be a streamer by then.
That would be awesome. All right, you guys have.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I'll probably pop a live in